Welcome to my channel, Devin Rex for Art. So I'm doing a series for May following along Birgit Koopsen Gelprinting Challenge. And last week I did the first 7 prompts. This week I'm going to work on the next 7. So we have sewing thread. I'm going to use just some embroidery floss. And then we have bottle caps. I have a couple caps here from my kombucha. Lace, I'm just going to use this cheap lace from the dollar store. It's a crochet cotton lace. Egg carton, so I've cut down my egg carton because this is part of the inspiration. I'm going to try to make a cat, and this is going to be the eyes for the cat. And a handmade texture plate. So along the cat theme, I made this texture plate using just craft foam. It's a circular craft foam. I'm going to insert up here how I did that. So I basically used, for these ones, I used this stylus here and I rubbed it in, but I found I had to press quite hard and my hand was getting sore. So then I started using just a regular pen. And I think because the wetness of the ink, it just was easier to make the lines. It wasn't as hard on my hand. And then I did a test print of that here. So I was pretty happy. So I can use that for something else. And a comb. I'm going to use this comb I had bought at the dollar store, and I used it on my hair and it broke right away. So I've been using it broken. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. And I'm going to save that part for my personal use. And then I'm going to cut this. And I think I'll use this part for my jelly plate. And lastly, a textured roller. So I had these Stampin' Up rubber rollers. So I could use that. Found these sort of flat beads from the dollar store, and they were in like a ribbon form. So I'm just going to use that. I just used an elastic to attach them to this roller, and I'm going to use that for my textured roller. And they're just, like I said, they're just plastic beads. They're not sharp, so it shouldn't damage my plate. Again, disclaimer, never use anything sharp on your jelly plate. All right, let's get the plate out and start playing. So I was playing around with the egg carton to see how big the eyes would be. I did a little test here, and I think the cat's gonna have to be fairly large. So what I've decided to do is to do a larger sheet background using the jelly plate sideways. I'm going to do the background first using this ledger paper that my friend Kathy Berg sent to me. So I'm going to do the background first. We're going to do a few steps in my sort of an approximate plan, but I'm sure we're going to deviate from that. So first thing I'm going to do is the background, and I'm thinking the cat's going to be like blue and black probably. So for the background, I want to keep it bright. I was thinking red and orange. I'm thinking I'm going to want to do it like so. So I might just do half, let's just do the floor. Let's just do that. We'll do a strip for the floor, and then we'll build up the top half. So the floor could be a different color, actually. Let's do pink and red. So we're gonna keep this here as a reference, probably to this line here we're gonna do. And this is more of a planned way to do a monoprint. Often I just like to play and I just do whatever happens, but sometimes it's fun to challenge yourself and try to work out the layers. Ooh, it's kind of squishy. Let's go back and forth a few times. I'm going to just roll it off on here. push a bit harder. It's pretty good. It's not perfect, but that's part of the fun of jelly plating, is I'm going to just make that more of a definite line, I think. Cool. All right, so I'll let that dry and then pick out a pink. I think I'm going to use this fluorescent pink color, rose pink. All right, let's add the pink. It's a little bit goopy. I feel like that was drying as I was rolling it, so I'm actually going to wait and then we'll pick it up with another layer. So let's let that dry fully. Let's use this PBO blue violet pink to pick that up. I think the fluorescent pink should still show underneath it quite well. Yeah, that's smoother. That's feeling better. The other one just felt kind of chunky, or I just didn't have enough paint on there. But you can always add extra layers. So, all right, so I'm going to put that on here. So many different ways to layer with the jelly print, with the jelly plate, I should say. Let that sit, soak up. All right, so there's our first layer, nice and bright. And for the top, I think I'll just do this. I'll leave those crusty bits on there. And I'm gonna have the cat over on this side. So that means that it's gonna be here. So I want the texture plate over here. And I want the whole plate this time. And the other thing, when I was doing my test print for the texture plate, my red was a bit too thick, so it didn't, I found it didn't take off as much of the paint as I wanted. So I'm going to get this a little bit thinner, just pulling off, and then now I'm just lightly evening it out. Okay, let's put this down. We said we're going to do it over here, right? And then I'm going to just use my bottle caps to do just a fun little even use the back maybe. My GTS kombucha. Ooh, I like that. That looks better. So I really like that little plate. That's fun. Okay, now we let that dry, and then we'll pick it up with this metallic orange. All right, so it's just been a couple minutes and that's quite dry. So let's use the orange. I'm actually going to flip it this way to make it easier to line up with the floor. right, so it's still wet, so we're gonna line it up like so. If it overlaps a bit, that's fine. There we go. All right, let's pull this up. So that's kind of cool. I feel like where the crease was, it didn't pick quite up everything, but that's okay. So now we're gonna get the cat here. So he can be almost as tall as the plate. I'm gonna just wipe that. What if I did gold first and then picked it up with black? I haven't tried the stencil butter. The jelly plate, maybe we should try that. It's thick and creamy. I think the comb would work. Interesting. All right, so this is my trial with the cat to see how big his eyes are. I'm gonna make like a little stencil. So if I know my jelly plates, actually let's do that. I know my jelly plate's smaller than this. And let's see. And I don't think he needs to have paws. Just gonna make him fluffy, and let's give him or her a tail. So I'm just gonna cut that out. All right, and then I can use that in something else. I want the bottom level. All right, let's roll this on. I assume it has a pretty good open time. I haven't worked with this before, so this will be learning curve. Where's my little spatula? It's pretty thick. Let's see. I'm gonna roll with this. All right. Let's use our comb. Let's give him a little nose. So I'm gonna let this dry completely before I pick it up with the black. Actually, before I pick it up, I think I'm gonna give him, her, pink nose. It's gonna be like shimmery over the And perhaps let's do this PBO blue for the eyes. And I'm just going to use my paintbrush. It's actually drying pretty quickly. A little bit more of a defined face. I think it's dry. Seems to be dry. So I'm going to use Mars Black to pick it up. And I want to make sure I have enough paint on there so it is wet enough to go directly onto the ledger paper. All right. Is that? I don't want it too thick. Okay, let's try that. A bit of a smooch there, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to put it on this side. And again, I think I'll line it up with the bottom. Hopefully this crease won't wreck his little face. I'm going to push down there quite firmly while it's wet. I keep saying his. I was going to give him a pink collar. Maybe it should make it a him. We'll see what it looks like and then decide on the collar color. Color. That's a tongue twister. Okay, so it's been a few minutes. Fingers crossed. Let's see if it worked. So it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. He's kind of cute. I'll just draw in his little mouth. I like that. See the texture from the comb? I think you can see that. Crease gave him like little eyebrows. Let's do the yarn. I'm just gonna kind of make it squiggle around. So I kind of want like I want it to look like a ball of yarn that's unraveling. So let's just get it kind of ready. So the idea is it's going to be here, and we'll have it kind of weave around. Just do. And we'll have one coming off, and then we'll just have it do that. Is it crazy to have it go up? I don't know. Let's do that. Let's just have it go up. Sure. I want it. After that. Good. Let's just wipe around a little bit. Hoping they're still wet enough to go on here. I'm not sure, that might have been too dry, but we'll see. Oh, that kind of worked. What do we do for the collar? Let me get out a smaller jelly plate. So it's not going to be a lot of lace. Just draw a little nose in. Little mouth. So I start procrastinating because I'm trying to figure out what color to do his collar. So I decide to add some details. I get the base done of the collar with the black paint nice and thin, and I just squish over top of that to get a nice imprint of that lace. So I'm pretty happy with the base. So here. Oh no. Oh, that was close. Cut that off. I'm going to use pink just to fill in that string. And I think I'm going to make his nose more pink. All right, so what color for the collar? So after several agonizing minutes, I finally decided to do orange for the collar. That was just such a big decision. So I thought that orange would go nice with that background and have a bit of contrast against the cat. So here I'm just pressing it down, giving it some time, and I start multitasking. I rip the edge off that one side. I start adding some more details. And here we pull off the little mini plate, and I'm quite happy with that. I think it looks good. So I used a white Pitt pen, which has India ink, to do those white highlights in the eyes. And I'm adding some more paint pens to add some detail. Gold jelly roll for to make the eyes more of a solid color. It's not a real anatomical eye, obviously, it's just a whimsical little eye. And adding some highlights with a white gel pen and a white Posca marker. Tone down that pink a bit with an orange Posca pen. Adding a bit more highlights, just fiddling till I'm happy with it. And there, that's where I add the bit of orange, just slightly, and make those whiskers a bit darker. I add a circle around the texture plate impression just to kind of make it look like a moon or a symbol, and a bit of details in the ears. And next I trim off the other side, sign it, always sign your work. And I decide to use a Stabilo black pencil to give it a bit of a shading, a bit of 3-dimension. So I just scribble it on, and then I use wet paintbrush to activate it. And I add a bit under his chin to let his face pop out a little bit more and give him some character. And then I forgot to activate the tail, but I did do that later. I add some lettering, Lucky, and put some gold in there. So here's our final print of our whimsical Lucky cat for Birgit Koopsen's Gel Printing Challenge Week 2. And I hope you join me next week for week 3. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I hope we have lots of fun. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and all that YouTubey stuff. Bye-bye.